um, get that I could stay on topic and be on topic as it relates to aftercare, as it relates to webcamming, right? Now, as I was saying on the last live I was on, the recent one, is that aftercare is something that the industry and or a lifestyle of S&M, right? Submission and domination and things of that nature, they had that in their lifestyle terminology, right? And aftercare simply means the care that a partner shows someone after a intense, usually intense session. I'll say it that way, and I'm trying to be mindful of the language I use right here at YouTube. But after an intense session, if you think of the world of S&M and fetishes and things of that nature, which I am a fetishist, but if you think about that particular lifestyle and or industry where women, cam models such as ourselves, who perform those particular acts or act in that way, role play of domination and submission, then there's a place, especially, this is dedicated especially to my explicit models, who do acts and do things that are going to not only be emotionally intense for you, but the obvious, right? Because of the nature of the business, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be having, I'll say 8 times out of 10, real, I'll just call them OGs for the sake of this platform. And so, with that being said, when you think of aftercare in a real outside of webcamming, you think of aftercare as a lifestyle of people that are living the lifestyle of S&M, then these are the places and spaces where people show. There's a saying that me and my daughter are very close, and there is a saying where people talk about, um, let's just say just regular vanilla people. You're in the act of doing the do, right? After the act of doing the do is over, someone has to decide who go gets the rag or who go gets the towel or who go gets the whatever, because let's say it's so intense you're exhausted afterwards. And so when you think about aftercare just in the most simplistic form of that, that'd be the person that gets up and gets the towel and wipes you off and wipes you down or hugs you or kisses the one that that you're showing that. So what I really want to hone into is the word intensity. I want to hone into the word intensity because aftercare is so important when you're dealing with role play as it relates to uh, S&M, where there's pain, where there's pleasure and pain, where there's code words that are used, where there is the give and take of the one partner or whatever partners acting the role as the sub or submissive person, and then the other person is more of the dominant. There has to be a place of care, consideration, respect, all those things. This particular lifestyle and or role play in the industry takes a lot of care going. It's before care, middle care, and after care. When you think about S&M, it's always in that place of, okay, I got to check in the beginning, I got to check in the middle, and I got to check in at the very end. I got to keep checking in, so to speak, to ensure that this still is consensual, that part, that everybody's still comfortable, everybody's still safe, emotionally and physically, obviously, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even. I'm gonna throw spiritually in there, of course. That all of those factors are safe. That people are okay. So we got that. So at the very end of a very intense session with someone, and you're laying in the bed with them. Now, again, remember, they don't never, like I said in the last video, they don't never want to give us our credit. Whose credit? Sex workers. Give us our damn credit. What credit would that be, Jelena? Janae? That credit is where we are usually the people who come up with these things, heavy on the come, but come up with these things. But regular vanilla people take it from us, and they will never say, "Oh, I learned this from watching PORN," or "I learned this from Jelena Nails, the woman who's the webcam model for over 21 years." Because for whatever reason, people have their own stuff, shame, guilt, embarrassment. They don't want to know where they learn it from, so they don't never tell, "Oh, this is where I got it." Most times they don't. Just recently, over the years, I got to throw this in the bucket. Just recently, over the years, over TikTok, there was a tag entitled 304 or 304 talk, for those that are familiar, and it talked about and you would see vanilla women, regular women, married women, going over and learning from literal 304s, women who walk the blade, right? That's what we call it out here in California, to get understanding or get tips or get whatever, even when it comes to hygiene, right? They were learning, okay, wow, if I call them prostitutes, if prostitutes can know how, or toots, let's call them toots. I like toots. If toots are knowing how to keep their hygiene up and keep their stuff real good, what is the excuse? Just saying, for a regular, degular, vanilla wife. What's your problem, lady? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. So, but again, would that wife ever say, okay, I was online looking at, uh, I don't know, whoever that works that particular type of industry lifestyle to learn tips on how to keep my vaginal region fresh and clean for my husband? She probably wouldn't, right? And my point is that there's so many places and spaces of the industry or women or lifestyles that people live that people don't ever want to just say, hey, I learned that from and it's in every arena, really, when you think about it. If you think about the community, the community with the alphabet and letters in it, there's a lot of stuff that people learn from that community. Heterosexuals learn from that community, but never would admit that that's where they learned it from. And I think it's important that I mention that. But going back to aftercare, y'all. So aftercare looks like where you are able to, let's go with Gemini, because I was just talking to Gemini. Let's go, because I want to keep it with my notes. And everybody's aftercare is going to be different. But hey, Gemini, can we go back into my Google Keeps to pull up the aftercare notes, because I'm now on my live and I want to be able to look at my bullet points. Then I'm just popping. Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it. No, I cannot.
Here are the bullet points from your aftercare notes. Key pillars and neurochemistry, physical care, hydration, quick snacks.
Okay, so we're going to scroll down. Basically, when we talk about aftercare as it relates to after sexual relation with your partner, it would look like this. And again, this is applied to, I'm going to first mention it from a vanilla standpoint, then we'll get into our cam models, right? But for the most part, this is for my cam girls. This is specifically for my cam models. But for those that are coming in that may be, hopefully, you should be over 18. I prefer you to be over 25. Just saying, regarding aftercare and how you care for oneself, or depending on what lifestyle, but primarily as it relates to S&M. So when most of the time when it comes to those type of things, this is the place. Let's just say a role play was, let's say I'm the submissive, and I don't know, I was being spanked. We're going to be real simple about it. And I was being spanked. And let's just say my butt cheeks got super duper red, right? Thank you for the subscription, guys. And my butt cheeks got super duper red. Well, that aftercare of that intensity, and he's spanking the crap out of me, pow, right? Which I don't like spanking, y'all. I'm just saying, using this as an example. But let's say he does, and it's intense. And I'm in this role play. I'm an actor and actress in this role play, and he's spanking me. And then the aftercare would be what? I'm just, it just, let's just go with what makes sense. The aftercare would be what? Does he bring ice? Does he get a cold towel? Because I don't imagine that a cold towel might soothe my little red bum, right? So the aftercare would be that he would kiss it. The aftercare would be like, you're a good girl. I don't know, words of affirmation, right? That's a part of the aftercare. The aftercare, the point of aftercare is to ensure after the intensity has died down or drained, I was gonna say drained out, cowgirl humor, but after that is you're subsiding, because what happens is in this intensity, when you talk about dopamine, oxytocin, hormones, all these things are happening. Your body, your nervous system is excited. You're like, oh, this feels in you. You know how pleasure and pain has that fine line? This is why a lot of us can get tattooed, right? A lot of people can get tattooed. And have you ever had a tattoo session? Just saying, for those that have tattoos, you'll know, like for instance, here's my butterfly, right? So having this tattoo, it took a while, but there's a part of when the tattoo artist gets to a certain place where it becomes euphoric. It becomes a little bit pleasurable. Just a little. You feel a sense of like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you feel a sense of like you're almost drifting, it could be becoming euphoric feeling after a while. After that tattoo artist is just the listening of the needle. You know what I mean? the sound of the music, all these things that are happening around you. In fact, I have a tattoo guy that he literally, we role play me giving him a tattoo because those are the things that turn him on. So it's the sound, it's the hypnoticness of it. It's a lot. Of course, me being a soft dom, make a long story short, that feeling of getting a tattoo after a while, it starts to feel a little pleasurable. It's like, I'll give you a good example. I'm a mother all day long. There's a part where women, when they have the baby, out of that intense contractions that we have, right? And you're in the place of pushing, you're pushing, push. There is probably about, I don't know how many seconds it is, but it's almost, I would say about, I'm gonna go with 5 to 10 seconds. It could be longer, of when a woman will feel a place of like euphoric feeling right before the baby completely comes out. It's this almost high, like outer body experience kind of thing. It's like, well, it's, you're still in pain, mind you, but it's also this place of like you're able to rest in between it, and you are able to, I don't know, right? I say all that to say this. So when you have, and again, we're talking about intensity, we're talking about pain, pleasure, intense pain and pleasure. And when those things are operative, and then the hormones, and you're at this high peak, and your emotions are high, and you're submissive to him, or whatever the dynamic is, him or her, whoever is the sub, is not gender based, obviously, or is it obvious? I don't know. And whoever is feeling, because two people can feel it, but it's intense. What had happened was, that person after the orgasm, this is the part that I'm making plain, it doesn't always have to be in this order, but just to make it simple for you guys, after the orgasm has happened, you begin to go zoop, whoo, zoop, zoop, and you're coming back down to reality. You didn't came already, now you're really coming. Where are you going now? Back to reality. hmm right? Ooh, you're getting there. Oh, that was good. This is when their breath didn't slow down. This is where people get hungry. This is the part where, oh, aren't you thirsty? That's this, that. It's coming on down, and you're coming on down, coming on down. But mind you, because of S&M and the nature of that, now you're feeling there. What could be kicking in is now this, ooh, shame. Oh shit. Guilt. Oh shoot. Uh, we weren't supposed to do all that. Damn. Oh my God, did I really just do this with him or her or them or all of them, whatever? And that's coming because you're coming on back down. And then that the hormones, the chemical stuff is coming on down. And you're like, gosh, right? So watch this. Aftercare. Just in submission and domination, mind you, because we're specifically on that. And I'm gonna get to my webcam models, but I have to really make it general so we understand it can be applied to anybody, anywhere. Vanilla lifestyles, period, right? So after that, boom, it's all, you guys are both. He's laying next to you. You guys, I'm sure you guys heard of post NUT regret. Women have that too, by the way, where you done came off your high and you look at that person, you're like, damn, did I just sleep with this person? That could be part of it. But let's just say it's not that. It is a loving and consensual, and you guys actually like each other, and this is not a one night stand, and you're in some sort of a relationship, right? We'll go there. Well, the aftercare is the place where, out of all of that, because remember, the intensity is the key here. We're not talking about vanilla sex. We're not talking about vanilla regular, where it's just, okay, that was more. We're talking about something that religion and people and society and certain things that are tied to guilt and shame, and all these things could be all up in that gumbo. So the best way to regulate, this is the key word, to regulate the body, to regulate the mind, to regulate the spirit, to get back to being okay and safe and feeling you're not a weirdo, that part, and you're okay, right? Is to have your partner, especially in an S&M scenario, come back down to earth with you. And instead of getting them out the bed, because mind you, if you are a sub and you are playing the role of degradation, let's go there, humiliation. This is a role play. It's a very important mention. It's a role play. But after that role is played, do you really want to be treated like that out in the street and out in public, right? So most people don't. So if that's the case, well, I would say 50% according to what I know about the industry. But fantasy is also fantasy too, and role play is also role play. But I say all that to say, So imagine that person, you were on your knees being their servant. You can let your imagination go wherever you want it to go, but you're on your knees, you're letting it, they're being your servant or whatever. And yeah, they're being your servant, and they've done everything. They're submissive to you, right? They've done everything you've asked. They're a good girl, good boy, good whatever the role play. They're good. They did their part. That everything, the chemical is wearing off. It didn't wear on down. Everybody's done. Everybody's finished. Everybody then did their part, and that partner gets up and walks up and walks out. And this, what's really interesting. This happens in vanilla relationships a lot. The person gets up. There's no cuddling. There's no care. There's no shoot. I mean, sometimes who's to say? Some people might do better in SMN relationships because they know by I was about to say by law, but by rule or by I'm gonna say law. I just like the way that sounds. By law, this is what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to make sure we're okay. It's safe for us to explore this. That's a given. We already know the rules applied. In regular vanilla relationships, and I'm gonna get to my cam models. In regular relationships, not so much, right? Because of tradition and religion and marriage, and wives and husbands are taught. Wives are taught you're supposed to give it up anyway. That's your husband. It's a lot of that in there. If you guys get what I'm saying, so him getting up and not cuddling her, him getting up and not, even out of vanilla sex, right? Getting up and not doing those things, she could still feel effed up. Like, damn, like that's it. Like, wow, he doesn't love whatever people go through, right? But when it relates to intensity, it is a must. It is a must. I like to believe that it should be a must. That in those scenarios and situations, it ought to be aftercare, mandatory aftercare, mandatory. So, to my webcam models, boom. Ours is different. We're not one on one with somebody. And as for me, I'm not an explicit model and I'm a soft dom. So I don't ever really play the role of a sub, but I understand the dynamic because I have subs, right? So I know how it works. In my personal life, I have been once, one time out of many lovers as I've had. One time I've only played that role. So it only takes one time. And did I enjoy it? Yes, I enjoyed it. But I will say this, you have to be very, very, if you don't hear nothing else I'm saying, especially to the people outside the business, if you're not role playing and if you're not getting paid for it and it's making you feel some kind of way, you shouldn't be doing it, especially if it's a place of degradation and humiliation, be it said that that's what it is. And regarding, oh, I was just, the people that want to say I was just playing with you, because a lot of men, for my vanilla women that are listening, a lot of men will test you, right, to see if what you down for, right? That part, that's a whole nother topic really. But back to my webcam model. So boom, it's just us. The your guy comes through, you're submissive, he's a dom. You do an act, it's an intense act, whatever that act is. He takes you in a private, he pays really good money. Let's just say it's a good scenario. And you like being a sub. This is not a, this is, he's respectful in the beginning. Remember, beginning, middle, and end is how it ought to be. Respectful in the beginning, checking in the middle, ongoing, and at the very end, right? So he, what am I trying to say, y'all? So let's say he comes in, you guys do your business, whatever your role play is. It's intense. You're the sub or whatever. And when I say intense, that means you had your moment, you had your climax, you had your high. You're still, again, because you do the type of shows you're doing, you're explicit. You're still on that high. He's on his high, but remember, this is business, so you're not going to know, and he's not going to be able to give you necessarily, excuse me, the aftercare that you would want up close and personal. Same rule would apply with those that are in long distance relationship who do like video chat or whatever people do, right? But for cam models, how do you get your stuff? You guys often hear me say this when I'm just talking, and when I get real, I'll be like, I'm getting my stuff, right? When I say that, what does that imply? No devil in hell, no person, no whatever. I'm going to get the thing that I'm going to need for myself. If they don't, even if they don't say I can't get it, I shouldn't get it, how, what get me. So when it comes to your aftercare, you have to do that for yourself, right? You have to be, okay, that was intense. I see girls all the time in this industry, women all the time in this industry, do a lot of spanking. That's why I used that as an example earlier. So you're taking out your whatever you're going to use and you're spanking yourself. Boom, there's like 10. He's tipping you and you're spanking yourself, spanking, spanking, spanking. And then the show's over. The guy, especially if you're doing a group chat, so you got about, let's say, 15 men in your group chat telling you to spank yourself, because that's the role play you play, and you agree and you got paid and you're fine with it. You are comfortable with playing this role. I'm not saying that you don't feel comfortable, because that's a whole other different story, but you are okay with that. It's in your bio. That's what men know you for. That's what you do. That's your stuff. But afterwards, right, you submissive, you've been his little princess, whatever your role is. And then they go on, they leave your room, they leave your chat. You're in a private session, that countdown, our session countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That's the same method of your chemical is coming down. So you're coming off of this, you're coming off of this high or whatever. And then after you're coming off this high, then what you do is what am I trying to say, y'all? Then after the high, you are left by yourself. You closed out, the session is closed out. And this is where I asked for Gemini's bullet points in this. Probably got to ask again because I think it closed out. But the bullet points is this. Let me ask her again. Gemini, can you pull up my Google Keeps as it relates to aftercare for webcam models, the steps, so that I can keep that open? This is for you, Cam girl. After that intense show, right? Intensity. He's not there to do it for you. Now, he can verbally give you affirmations. He can give you affirmation, right? He can say, good girl, job well done, see you later. And then he's gone, right? But you don't have that physical. You don't have that connect. How do you self-regulate? That's the key here. How do you self-regulate back to you? Because you don't have that partner physically there to go get your rag, to hug you, to tell you you did a good job. They're already gone, right? Gone, gone, gone. Because it's the nature of the business, right? It's transactional. So, but you can practice aftercare. So, what do we do? Number one, webcam model aftercare. These are where we're at: physical recovery and comfort. Okay. Hydrate and nourish. Drink water and eat a light snack immediately post stream to restore energy. Remember, I showed you guys my Cam Girl snacks, the little ones that I got from Target? Your energy, eat something, rebuild, because you don't have him around to be like, hey, my whatever. He calls you and he goes in your kitchen and go grab you that. This is a business transaction. He's gone until you see him again, right? Then it says prioritize your physical comfort. This is a good one. Now, this is not right in here, but let's just say you were in a position, because a lot of you cam girls that are more explicit, you're in a position that's abnormal. Let's just go there, right? You get your legs back in order or your arms or whatever you got out of proportion, tuck those babies away or whatever, rub them, rub it out, soothe, whatever. If you had clamps on your whatevers, you can take off the clamps and just, you know what I'm saying, rub and be okay. And I'm going to arouse. Obviously, this is the opposite. This is the aftercare. And be like, I need to put some ice on these, if that doesn't turn you back on. Because remember, you're self-regulating. You're getting to that. Remember I said earlier in my sound effects, y'all, is to put emphasis. So you're getting back to that. Okay, that was nice. That was good. Ooh, I did good. Then you give yourself those affirmations. I did a good show. You go and you check if you're like me, you check and see how much you made from that show. That kind of makes you feel good, right? That's your aftercare. Oh, okay, I made that. Okay, cool. You're good with what your earnings are, right? But then your physical. And then you check in with your emotional. Did I really like that show? Did I really want to do? And this is just my way of teaching. You guys know how I get down. Did I really want to do that? Did I really want to do it like that? Should my leg have been higher? Should I not spank so hard? Damn, I think I'm gonna have to soak myself in some serious ice. The fellas don't know this. How do I care for myself? Because the key of what you don't want to do is think nothing of it. That's the point I'm making. If you're hurting, you're hurting. If you overdid it, you overdid it. You should not be logging back in if you overdid it. You should be taking care of yourself. You should be aftercaring your bum, okay? And making sure you're okay and healed for your next show. And we talk about intensity. This is why I'm putting emphasis here, you guys. We're talking about intense shows. We're not talking about that she just put whipped cream on the show and she licked it with on her butt and licked it with her fingers. We're talking about intensity, right? So it says prioritize physical comfort. This says disrobe from costume. This one really helps. When I tell y'all throughout the years, what do I say? Once I take off this robe and take off these earrings and take off this lingerie, hop in the shower, and put me a good old movie. I love me a good black and white, depending on when I cam. If it's cam Saturday early in the morning, you guys know I like wings. I have a video for you guys where I out and about earlier today at my wing stop. So I know how to put back into my bucket. I know how to aftercare. And if you anything like me in my story, then you know I know how to take care of self. So anyway, so what can I get this word? Prioritize physical comfort. Disrobe from your costume. Take off your clothes. I mean, all the pun, no, not the pun, not again, but take your clothes off from costume though. That's the emphasis here. Lingerie, like I just said, take a warm shower like I do, or a bath, and put on soft, comfortable clothes. When I finish my camming, when I come out of my lingerie, I'll put on my fun stuff. Remember my PJs, you guys, I just bought the pink ones? That's when I feel like Janae, not Jelena Nails, but that's when Janae is here and she gets her popcorn and she's just in a mode. And you get what I'm saying? I'm in my safety zone because, and again, I'm a soft dom. I'm not a submissive in the business, but even me, as for me, my aftercare, let me tell you, after I done told men what to do and how to do it and where to put it and where to don't put it and how to stand and don't stand and where to get up and what I say do is you better do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it or else and blah blah blah. After I go through all of that, I can be absolutely in need of aftercare, right? Even though my shows are not explicit, that's okay. But my mental is explicit. What I tell them is so much explicitity and explicitness. Explicitity. Explicitity is a word, I think. It has so much in that. I'm gonna need to have some aftercare. I might even have to brush my teeth afterwards. I gotta clean up some stuff. Just saying. But no, mentally, I gotta put on something soothing. Now I gotta watch something that's positive. Now I got to look at something. And I'm not saying this, and I want to put emphasis here, because the job makes me feel so bad. We're not talking about bad. We're talking about intensity, right? Again, emphasis on that word. We're talking about this. Have you ever went to a regular job, for those that work regular jobs, and you went there and you're like, boy, it was a day at work today. It was a day at work. How many people have said, I can't wait to get home and take a bubble bath? And it's just a regular vanilla job but that particular day was intense. You're going to need some aftercare. But again, because your emotions were drawn on that job, you almost had to curse somebody out or they cursed you out. It was a lot of heaviness is another word, but intensity that you took, right? And if you don't have nobody to do the aftercare, what's the commonality of aftercare and self-care? To me, aftercare is literally specifically in the space and place of after sexual arousal. Period, point blank. This is where I'm heavy with it. Self-care can be applied to anywhere. After, like I said, after work, after you got off the job, after you talk to your children, after you just need some me time. That's self-care, right? You just need aftercare specifically applied to the intensity that is after one is, and again, giving credit back to the community of S&M where it began for the most part, with my knowledge and awareness of it, of an experience of being in business for 31 years, if you add that I'm a phone sex operator as well. So the second part, or going on down the list, is emotional and mental decompression. Mm, mm, What I just say. Emotional and mental decompression. Ladies, the more they do the more intense shows, the best thing that you want to do is make sure, even to me, what's more important to me more than anything is my mental health. Because if my mind is not right, I'm not going to want to get in the shower. So if I get in the shower and my mind is still, there's a mantra, I think how you say, that I say when I'm in the shower, no matter what type of day I had. It's just what I've been saying for years. My mind is healed. I literally would be in the shower, water dripping over me, letting the water run. My mind is healed. My body follows. It's literally what I say every time I'm in the shower. My mind is healed. My body follows. My mind is healed. My body follows. My mind is healed. My body follows. Boom. My mind is healed. Yeah. My body follows. I'm healed, right? Literally, that's more on my spiritual side of me, but it's to get to the point of saying that if my mind, if you're not taking care of your mental and these acts putting emphasis here. And these acts are not making you feel good, right? And worthy. Because remember, this is supposed to just be role play. You're not supposed to take this stuff actually home with you, so to speak. You're not supposed to take the job home with you. This is supposed to be, yeah, what's called acting. Remember what I always say? We're actors and actresses and actors at best. Moving down the line. So separate. It says emotionally and mental decompression. So cam girl, to my intense cam girls. I'm not even gonna call you explicit. I'm gonna just call you intense. To my intense cam models, separate persona from self. I always talk about it, right? Learning the difference. And when I talk about Janelina and Janae, right? Separate persona from self. Physically step away from your stream room. Physically do it, and set up to a signal and set up to a signal to your brain that the session is over. Oh, this is good. Every is I won't say every time. Most times when I come out of a private session with my guy, even though with the countdown happening, but every time I come out of private, when the countdown is, I'll already stop my show. Because I'm like, to me, one private, because I'm so talky most times, more than show and telly, and I'm a talker, and that's a lot of talking, and that's a lot of JOI, for those that know the term. That's a lot of directing, that's a lot of delegating, that's a lot of telling them what to do, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna need a break. I'm gonna break from running my mouth. I'm gonna read a break from running my mouth. So I do that. I'll just stop my show. And mind you, and on StreamMate, for those that don't know, again, StreamMate does give us models a 10-minute break. So we can always push the pause button on your show. It'll say cam model is on our model is on a short break, right? And so yeah, do that. And then it says digital disconnect. What I just say. See, I asked for Gemini's help. I didn't even need her help because literally this is me 100%. Turn off stream notifications and step away from direct messages to set immediate boundaries. Yes, on strip chat, right? On strip chat, this is a place where I definitely set boundaries, right? Where I get so many messages on strip chat, I can't keep up with all the mess because that's where I am long nail goddess. That's where my nail guy. So I'm like, I can't keep up with all of these. I can't keep up with them. And if I'm in it, and if it's been intense, going back to that word, then I have to be able to disconnect and just be like, I'll answer the messages later. Even if I didn't reach my goal, I pay attention to how I feel. That's very important. Grounding practices. You guys know I'm spirit woman first. So grounding practices, use deep breathing, music. You guys know I'm a sucker for music or a brief walk to reset your nervous system. This is why on Saturdays camming, when I do Saturday camming, what I tell you guys, wing stop and wings are my thing. Not because I like the food in itself. It's something that's my thing. You get what I'm saying? That's and even if a man or my guys like wing stop and wings too, is not the point. The point is I shut down off my stuff. I shut down my shows, and I'd be like, I'm gonna go have me some wings because that's what makes me feel good. I don't know. I'm a wing girl. I want my wings. I want my iced tea. I want my what's call it my dunk. I want my stuff to myself. I'm not sharing right now. I'm not in the mode of sharing. I don't want to go live and do a mukbang. There was times, as you guys know, I've done eating shows many times before. I've logged in to my camming eating, and men will tip me while you guys know it's a thing. It's been a thing for a while. That's another thing that they didn't give us credit for. Us sex workers being in the business, mukbanging and eating fetish has been since the beginning of time. And then here comes YouTube. You know what I mean? Here comes other people. I'm not going to name no names. And people get their credit and they don't give credit, you know. Anywho, so psychologically, and this is a good one, moving down the list, psychological safety and burnout prevention. Again, going back to the mind. One thing, I am in therapy, y'all, by the way. I have therapy every Tuesday. Won't he do it? What I like about the therapist that I have, without saying too much, is that she knows I'm in the business. So I'm in a place of being able to speak with her briefly, right, about certain things that may concern me, my own personal, challenges, how I see men going forward with because I'm a woman in the industry for so long, things of that nature. And I have to put this out here for those that don't know, and I'm gonna start mentioning it more often on StreamMate. you can prove that you, if you can, which you should be able to, that you are a webcam model there is a therapies that is called pineapple therapy. These are specialized therapy, professional licensed therapists who actually specialize in sex workers, for sex workers, cater to women that are in the industry. And I keep saying I'm gonna sign up. I think oh God, please let me remember to sign up. I want to sign up too, because guess what? My generalized therapist, she's not specialized in the things that I can sit and chit chat with her about, what the industry and certain things that kind of trouble me about the industry. She doesn't know that part. She's not there. However, on pineapple therapy, those are again licensed therapists that are very familiar with the challenges that many sex workers may or may not have, or you just want to talk to someone that doesn't give that judgment or doesn't. Because there's times where I've looked at my therapist, I got to be careful about what I say, because she does look at me like, what this look like? Whoa, that was intense. I gotta almost give her a warning. Hey, what I'm about to say is about to be raw. What I'm about to say is about to get a little tense. Are you ready? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then when I start flowing, because you guys know me, damn, I have to ask her again. When I start flowing, then she's like, okay, and she can hold her composure, but it's not her specialty, right? And so we got to be mindful of our audience in that respect, of how we overshare. Even as I'm doing this live, I'm very mindful that this is YouTube and I can't just free flow. This is why I wanted to open up an OnlyFans for topics like this, because I can go. I There is so much that I want to talk about that is explicit, that is from a teaching point of view, that is extremely explicit when I think about it, and yet I'm not sure if that's what I don't know about that. So let me move forward, go back to Gemini, because my phone timer thing went out. Gemini, once again, for the last time, can you bring up the Google Keep on, what are you talking about? Aftercare with webcam models, the bullet points. Almost forgot.
Here is a summary of the core
Okay, so we're back. All right. So we already covered that. Emotional. We covered the psychological part of it, you guys. Separating work from home is another thing I talked about. Lighting and space shift is a good one, right? Again, going back to aftercare, what it's all really saying is in our case, detaching from the business, because the way the business is set up, if that makes sense, right? Because the nature of the business, we have to detach. That's a part of our aftercare, is detaching. In a up close and personal intense scenario, um, up close and personal scenario with a actual lifestyle partner that you're practicing submission and domination, the key is to draw to get is to attach, not to detach. But in this case, it's to detach. Does that make sense, you guys? That's how we practice our aftercare, because there is nobody around to do it for us, or do it for you specifically if you're a sub, right? So you have to do that for yourself. You have to find other ways of doing that, because again, there's nobody to do it for you. Lighting and space shift, and I had to mention that, so when we get into this other portion of it, it makes sense. Like, it sounds like I thought aftercare was that, somebody would take care of me, and yeah, we have to do it for ourselves, right? So, and these are the things that Gemini is helping me with, to break down, because everything matters in this case. Everything should be considered. Lighting and space shift. Turn off heavy studio ring lighting that I got going on right here. Heavy studio ring lighting right away, to relieve eye strain, headaches. Oh, hello, somebody. For my migraine sufferers like yours truly, headaches, transitioning the room back to soft, comfortable ambient light. I do this all the time. To get back to Janae outside of Jelena for my aftercare, then the light, if it's at night, the lights come on, or a different light is up. I get out of cam model mode, right? That's what I'm really saying. Separating work from home, emotional and neurochemical recovery. Here's where it is applied to all of us, right? Managing post cam drop. In the case of people in the lifestyle, so remember when I say lifestyle, I'm talking about domination, submission, absolutely. Your partner, you have a person that you live with, your boyfriend, your man, your partner, your lover, it is up close and personal, to the touch, right? Not just a business, it is literally a relationship you're in, or some sort of relationship, right? emotional and neurochemical recovery. This should have been number one. This is the part where it matters the most. This is the part where you have a post cam drop. Well, let's talk about, before I get to us cam girls, or the ones that do intense explicit shows, that do real orgasms or have real orgasms, and you are submissive. That's why I'm putting emphasis here to my submissive cam models. It doesn't mean that it can apply to me as a soft dom or a dom cam model. It just shows up differently. So when you talk about a vanilla, not vanilla, but a S&M relationship regarding, so getting back to aftercare and self-regulation, what that looks like is your person. Again, remember I told you how in vanilla relationships, who's going to get the rag after the sex is done, after you've done your due, who gets up out of the bed to go get the snacks, who makes the sandwich. That type of aftercare, that's the vanilla folks taking over the industry terminology. So in a S&M situation, or dominant submissive lifestyle, this would be a place where the person is, this would be the place where the dom would, again, like I said, give affirmations and say you're doing good, or you good job, or if you like words of affirmation, that kind of thing. Or they kiss your bum bum because you got, like I said earlier, you got a lot of spankings, or they take off the nipple clamps for you and kiss your nipples afterwards, right? They let you know that all is well, right? They don't get up and make you feel like shit after you've already played a role of being shit for them. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I mean, especially for those that are in the more humiliation roles. So again, going back to neurochemical recovery, what we're doing in this stage, y'all, and I see your comments. Hold on, you guys, I'm gonna answer it right now. But what you're doing in this stage of, because I don't want to lose my thought, what you're doing in this stage of aftercare, this is the emphasis again put here, is to you're getting back to self-regulation. You're getting back where the body is getting back regulated. When a person, primarily a woman, I can only speak for being a woman, a cisgendered woman, has a major, and I'm a multi-orgasmic woman, but when we have our O's, I call them OGs, but when we have those, it can be extremely intense, whether we're submissive or not, or dominant or not, whatever, just off the premises of the beautiful gift that God has given women of achieving a beautiful OG. That can be extremely intense for some women, especially if some women SQ. I mean, got to abbreviate some stuff around here, y'all, especially if they're SQers, okay? Like yours truly. All of those things to be considered. If that's the case, that's such an intensity, right? Who, let me make it plain English. I don't want to be with a man in my personal life with all this intensity that I know I can be, a vibrant woman that I can be, and he doesn't give me the aftercare of, again, I'll go back to words of affirmation is good for me. Making me a sandwich would be excellent. That part, whatever it is, right? So this is what it says, and I'm going to my cam models now. So managing post cam drop. When I come out of a private, although I'm a soft dom, when I come out of private, remember what I said? I have that post cam drop of, whew, when I'm in role play, because this is how my shows are run, when I am doing a particular role play with a man and I'm speaking, and I always do an example, y'all. So let's just say I'm talking to a regular sub, whatever, and I'm telling him what to do, right? So I'm like, I don't know, hey servant, you know where you belong, right? Tone changes. You know where you belong. You know what you're supposed to be doing. I see that that's what you want to do, but is that what I told you to do? I didn't tell you to do that. Oh, Goddess, Goddess, please, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to listen to you. You're not listening at all. And because you're not listening, you do know what that means, right? All of that. And mind you, I can do that for a very long time because my imagination can just keep going and going and going, right? Thank God for being neurodivergent or my BP, either or. It's all joy. But anyway, I count it all a blessing. After I do that for 30 minutes straight, and he's listening all these things, I'm a soft dom, soft about it. My approach is soft. I'm not rough. I'm not get on your knees. I'm not that. After that session is done, there is a drop, y'all, that I go through. And that drop is like, whew, it's, oh man, I get thirsty. I'd be like, ooh, that was a lot of talking. I'd be like, man, I sit back like this, and this is just the Jesus Christ truth. I'd be like, whew, after the show then ended, I'm like, wow. I'd be like, whew. And I start scratching. I'd be like, man, that was intense. Back to that word, right? So I'm like, ooh, wee. I was like, ooh, wee. Then the dopamine I'm looking for after this, right? Because mind you, I like what I do, don't get me wrong. But it takes a lot of intensity for me to hold that all the way through for 45 minutes, hold the tone, hold that authority, hold it. It takes a lot from me, and I'm empathic too. So that takes a lot for me to put that in there. He's already, reached his peak. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And I have to walk him through it, talk him through it. It's done. Then I close down my stuff. And what gives me my relief or my like, give back is I'll recycle my money page. Cause I'm like, oh, how much did I make? Okay, let me see. Did I reach my goal yet? I know I'm not the only one. That is my place of what's it called? Self-regulating, of coming back down, because I know I'm coming back down off of that high too. Because when I talk in that tone and I'm in that zone, it's really a zone you get into. I'm Jelena Nails. I'm a total different person. You get what I'm saying? So playing that role takes effort and it takes energy from me. It really does. It's an essence. It's an energy. It's that's why I say it's acting, but it still physically can be physically draining on me. Is what I'm really saying. Right? It's intense. Even if it's soft, even if I'm slow with my words, even if it's not me with a whip, it's still intense because it lasts and I got to keep up that momentum. So, one way that I regulate or get back to reality, my reality, after they go to sleep, I suppose, afterwards, is I go and I check to see how much I made. And I go, okay, I'm getting there. And then I'll be like, should I take a break? Or then sometimes I'll jump back on. But it all depends on going back to when I said pay attention to how you feel. So post cam drop, recognize and counteract the post session decline in dopamine and oxytocin. Use intentional self-soothing practices such as warm showers. It always goes back to that: bath, cozy clothing, comfort meals, or listening to calm music. And I put my spa music on all the time after a camming session. I get ready to go to bed and it's all said and done. It's either my movie or I put my spa music on YouTube, right here, YouTube, spa music. In fact, I was going to do a playlist of spa music or relaxing music or whatever for cam models to decompress. That's a good idea. Yeah. If I don't do it, somebody else take it. I'm not gonna even. You can don't. It's not considered stealing. It needs to be done. And if I don't feel up to doing it, somebody else ought to be able to do it, if that's what they want to do. Um, Post session decline and dopamine and oxytocin. I always pronounce that wrong. That's where I want to kind of hone in on it too. Remember when the body is going through something when we climax as women and men, but primarily as women, the body is going through intensity, climaxing, convulsions, the body's contracting, a lot of stuff is going on. It's a lot going on in the chemical makeup, it's going on in the physical makeup, it's going on when those knees start to shaking. For those that know, because I'm one of them knee shakers. I'm just when it starts to get intense, again, how many times have I said intense, y'all? When it starts to get intense, and after that intensity, ask yourself, ladies, whether you're in the business or not, am I getting the aftercare I need? I have to come back and do a part two, just in a video though. Are you getting the aftercare you need? I'm gonna go ahead and read this comment. Blessings, beautiful, heaven sent queen. Thank you so much. Is that I thought it was my Patty. Hi, thank you, 77. I can barely see your name, but I can see the 77 because I was born in 77. Hi, you guys. And so when it comes to, hey, Red, I see you. And when it comes to things like that, we have to remember that. So let's go back where we're at. Self-soothing practices. Separating persona from self. We already know that, you guys. The psychological boundaries, that's what we talked about. And peer connection. Debrief or touch base with trusted industry peers. Okay, that's why I'm here with y'all, right? That's one way that I do aftercare. If you guys watch this, I can put this down now. When it comes to my aftercare, all of it. When I come here and I give tips and I share experiences, and the fact that I'm even doing this live is my meaning of aftercare. Now, I haven't cam today, but if I had of, when I come back and say, hey guys, this would happen, when I come back and do that, that's a place of me giving back to myself to make it, I almost want to say worthwhile, if that makes sense, of who I am in the business, what I stand for, what happened. It makes it more, I don't want to say real because it is real. It just makes it more, do I dare say this? More about me than it does about them. And that's where it matters, because when you think about aftercare and an intensity of S&M, or a submissive domination role play lifestyle, the submissive person, although we all know, we really know that that's usually the more powerful person anyway, but let's just say for the sake of the conversation, the submissive person in the act of submission in the role play, they are the weaker one. Just saying, for the sake of this example, they are the weaker one, right? So it's only, I almost want to say it's only fair that the person that is the weaker one, in other words, the person that's been the dominant one throughout the whole scenario and situation, the whole role play, that it, again, like I put emphasis what I said earlier, it ought to be law, so to speak, that that dominant person definitely makes it noun all about the sub. Because the truth is, in this interaction, just your regular, if you will, with nothing added to it, nothing taken away, S&M scenario, it has been nothing, all of it has been about the dom. It's been about the submissive person admiring in my case, I'm a soft dom, I can speak for myself. it, it would, if I showed aftercare to a sub, how about that? Ooh, right? Okay, because it's about them. How do I show aftercare? Because we're talking about aftercare as it relates to us as webcam models, because of the nature of the business, and it's transitional is why I put emphasis here. But can we also show aftercare to them? But the truth is, most times when a sub, because of the nature of the business, got his fix, he's gone, right? You got until the next time. You guys get what I'm saying? So I think on one of the sites that I'm on, is that StreamMate? One of the sites I can't even reach out to my guys and message them unless they message me first, right? So if I'm looking at it from that aspect, what is one way that I can show aftercare to them if they wanted it? That's the whole point, right? Because again, this is the nature of the business. If they wanted it, how would that look? Because he was a good subby, he did his part. The only thing I aftercare I do and give, if I'm being honest about it, is when they come to reach their peak. The best thing I can tell them is it's words of affirmation. You guys know what I'm about to say? Do you know what I'm about to say? Good job, right? That a boy. You made your empress proud. You like serving me. I'm so proud of you. Till the next time. You see, that would be my way of giving them their aftercare, right? But in the place of us, and again, putting emphasis that this is transitional, it's our job, it's business, we're actresses. The best way we can do our aftercare is to do it for ourselves. Outside of that, going back to S&M, I don't mean to sound like a broken record repeating, but to put emphasis here, remember, what's the word of the night? Everybody say it. Intensity. Okay, intensity. Intensity is the point of aftercare, really. But I think it should be the point of even if the session is not intense, right? Like I said, when I made the example of a wife and a husband, and let's just say a woman who, she is semi pleased with her husband semi pleased her. I don't think any real, I don't say real, I don't think any woman who, after having an encounter with her husband or her lover, her boyfriend, whatever, wants him to get up immediately, even if she's not a cuddler, because I'm not, get up immediately afterwards without any type of aftercare, you know especially in most times marriages. I'm just going to go here, marriages and those type of relationships are vanilla. Usually the woman is automatically more submissive, even if she's not playing an actual sub and dom role. You get what I'm saying? But just naturally, sub because of, again, going back to religion, going back to the fact she's the wife and she's supposed to be subservient to her husband and give it to him when he wants it. And so she's already assumed that role. So imagine, Lord forbid, worst case scenario where she's been that, she is that, and then here we go again, and the aftercare is not at all there. One of the cheesiest aftercares that I've ever had from a man outside of the industry, to me, I think it's cheesy because many men do it, is that famous kiss on the forehead. Sir, why? 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 I don't know why. I mean, I know why, and I don't want to dive too deep on why men do that, but because of all this parental blah, 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 especially depending on the role you play, yada, yada, yada. But that is some men's way, gentlemen's way, because there are some men way do use that as a form of manipulation, but I won't get into that. But but also that it, let's just say the man is a good guy, right? That might be his way of showing aftercare, right? It's his way of showing aftercare. Kiss on the forehead, kiss on the cheek, a whisper, sweet whisper in the ear. And what else is good aftercare? Because everybody's different. Because I don't like cuddling. Like in my real life, I don't like cuddling. So a man giving me the best aftercare would look like, especially after something intense. And remember, I don't have to be in an S&M relationship for this. I'm just an intense woman, but just being regular in a scenario. And you know, I'm vibrant. I mean, I don't know if y'all picked that up, but I am. I can't tell you how many men, I don't like it, but how many men have told me you look like fun. Well, I am, sir. My job is to just my job, even as Janae, right? My job is to make sure and ensure if you're worth the experience of what this fun looks like or is, right? That's my job. Okay, I am fun, but you'll never know, or you will, one or the other, right? So for me, when I think of aftercare, it would be, because again, I don't like cuddling. I do like words of affirmation. And I'm talking about as it's going down. We're not talking about, a lot of times the aftercare can be completely after the high has gone down. Aftercare also can be really good as it's going down. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay, let me see how I can word this in a way that YouTube is YouTube friendly. In the When you're coming down off the oxytocin and off the dopamine of your climax or orgasm, boom, remember I go that motion. When you're coming down in here, aftercare can be applied here, right? When you're, oh, that was good. I mean, just go here for a second. Wow. When you're still in that, whoa, you're really not high. When you're in that high, you're still up there. He didn't rolled over you on the side or your partner, and y'all just laying there. That part, and but you're still here with it, right? In that moment, aftercare, because we're talking about timing too, because I think it matters. It can be here, and everybody's different. But for me, I like aftercare. What stage would I say? If there were stages to it, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go back flatline, so to speak. I forget in sexology because I'm a certified sex educator, but I often forget the term of what it is when you go back to being regular, right? Because if a man or a person tries to give you the aftercare, especially if it's touch based aftercare, not just words, sometimes words too, aftercare too soon, they're gonna get on your nerves. They could irritate you. It could feel weird. It could feel irritating. Anybody else, especially a physical thing. If you touch a woman and she's just had her, and men have that way too, and she's just had her heightened and she's on, let's just say she's still on cloud nine, she didn't drop down to 2. You got to be as a man, in my opinion, you got to be a very good indicator or intuition or discernment, whatever you need to read that woman's body, because not every woman's the same. Read her body to be able to know, okay, I can touch Janae right at, she must be on level, she's breathing right there. She's good right there. I can bring her a towel right now. But if you bring the towel too soon, anybody else, come on, y'all. I wish somebody was here to testify with me, man. If the man brings me the towel too soon and try to lay it on my hoo-ha, is what my daughter called it, too soon, I'm gonna get pissed off because I want to enjoy, number one, I don't know about anybody else, I want to enjoy that a cooling down process of it. I want to, don't touch me. That many of us are that way. Don't touch me. Don't bring me the towel. You're moving too soon, moving too fast. Just let me, I'll let you know when it's a go, right? If you bring me a sandwich, let's just use the sandwich. I'm up here at stage 3. Why are you bringing me a sandwich? I'm not hungry right now. And I'm still trying to, oh, I'm not there yet. And every woman and every person has a different time. And this is what I love about S&M, the community of S&M and dom and submission and domination. What I like about it is because they are they are trained. They're training each other. They trained enough. A gentle dom, I'll go with that, is a trained dom that knows how to pay attention to the breathing. He knows how to pay attention to the signs. He knows how to pay attention to the intensity levels. He's watching her, and he understands that each woman that this, let's say, is a Casanova for the sake of this. This is what makes a real Casanova, not a player really, but a Casanova or a good lover, be a really good lover. It's because he understands no two women are alike, and even that same woman can be different on a different night. You get what I'm saying? But he is so in tune that he pays attention to her breathing. He pays attention to her words. He pays attention to how her body is, her legs. He pays attention to everything, her essence, her core, everything, to know it's a timing thing. Do I touch her now? Do I talk to her now? Do I make her a sandwich now? I'm just using these as examples because everybody's aftercare is going to look different. Some people might be like, bring me a glass of water. Uh, it may be what's it called? Turn on a TV, put the music back on. I don't know. It may be rub my back, right, y'all? But again, for me personally, the biggest aftercare that I appreciate from a man is, and the timing, because we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Touch me when I reach 4. I hope this makes sense to y'all. When I'm 4, when I'm almost completely relaxed. Don't touch me when I don't already fell asleep, because I don't like cuddling. Don't. We should have did all that beforehand. This is I'm just saying. So with that, and I'm very attuned to my body. I'm very attuned to my emotions. I'm very self-aware. So I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I'm not gonna pretend that I like something that I don't like. And just because he's used to doing it to all the other women, let me tell you. If I have to tell you, I'll tell you what it is. I don't ever want a man to assume what I like, and he should never want to. That's why communication. That's why, again, going back to the S&M, when you are living a lifestyle, especially when it comes to uh, be lovers and sexuality and sensual play and eroticism and tantric healing and all these things, when you are in that level, the best part of those type of lifestyles, what I love about it, is that they understand the art of communication. They literally know we need to be able to communicate in order for this to work effectively, for us to have a productive, uh, what's it called? It's kind of like compared to when people have polyamorous and polygamous relationships. The communication got to work with those type of things. You can't be trying to get a woman who's looking for a traditional relationship with just one man and try to convince her to be polyamorous or polygamous and all that jazz. You need to find a woman that's really into that, who can communicate that, and you find your people, your person, whatever, and y'all just flow. Because there are some of those situations where those relationships work beautifully, because why? They communicated and that person was agreeable to that particular lifestyle, right, y'all? And the same applies to S&M lifestyles, any type of lifestyle you're trying to have, any type of dynamic of whatever, right? So again, back to aftercare. Aftercare is, for me, what I do for myself. That's also self-care. But aftercare is putting heavy emphasis off of what someone else is doing for you after you do the do. And so I would say, and I'm glad I'm having this live, because it allows me to, because I've never opened up about this, and it allows me to see what does that really mean and look like for me. Truthfully speaking, outside of the business, even, right, y'all? So outside of the business, what that looks like for me is aftercare, level 4. This is like right before I start maybe drifting off to sleep, or right before I get up and maybe want to go fix a sandwich myself, right before that. So it would be the man who hmm, let me think. Damn, I'm thinking. I've had it before, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, ooh, because I know if we think about these things and we talk about it out loud, you guys, we now know, or I will now know, this is what I can communicate with my next or new lover or old one, whatever, so that I'm able to say, okay, I like it when you do this. Not really. The thing with communications we have to learn is we make the sandwich. I even used to tell when I was raising my babies, because you guys know I'm a mother, a single mother, and even when teaching or training people on what you want them to do, you don't just straight out, I need you to do da da da. Of course, I do that, but I'm paid to do that, right? In the business. But you make the sandwich, and what the sandwich is, you give the first layer of bread, and you tell that person, I like when you rub my back, right? Then the sandwiches, when you get into the meat of it, you're like, but I prefer that you whisper in my ear too when you rub my back. It's aftercare, right? And then you close it off because that's the complaint in the middle. And then you close it off by saying, but overall, you are a really, really good lover. I mean, you are really good. I'm just giving that as an example. So that's the sandwich method that I use in mostly everything if I'm trying to communicate and get a need met or want or desire without trying to shame somebody, hurt their feelings, or make them feel bad about whatever, right? And so it looks like I'm losing my lighting, y'all. But I say all that to say this. Yeah, aftercare. I still haven't said what mine was, right? I think for me, the best aftercare have I received before. Let me think. Mm, the best aftercare for me is when a man, uh, when I'm done doing the do, I'm on level 4. Because remember, if you do it too soon, it's going to be a problem. But when I'm coming off the high, so to speak, is when I think one of my best aftercares is when they put a blanket over me afterwards. Anybody else? Like when don't touch me, don't, it's like this detached kind of thing with me. Like I don't need you to climb back in the bed and huddle and cuddle me. I don't need you to touch me or say, like none of that. I just get on and we'll work, like I said, I'm gonna work on it in therapy to see why that is, y'all. But I do like the it may not even be a problem. It's could just be my way, right? I'm gonna I like it when he then, like I said, put the blanket over me, where let's just say, because 9 times out of 10 it ain't gonna probably be no blanket because it got hot. I mean, come on, y'all, right? And so I'm probably just gonna be laying there just in my ah. But then when I reach 4, remember y'all, and we're coming down off a high. Now I'm almost about to just probably fall asleep, or just whatever. Let's just say fall asleep for the sake of making it plain, because most people that's usually okay. It was good. I'm just gonna doze on off, and because the body has gone through a lot of intensity here. So the beautiful thing is that when he would come in and cover me up with a blanket, I think that's for me a part of aftercare for me, because it signifies nurturing, warmth, and it connects to my own value systems. Because quick story time, because when I was my biggest thing throughout, for those that don't know my story, right? But one of my biggest things within my story, I won't have to tell the details right now, but within my story is that two things always mattered to me because of the lifestyle I came from, was that people are fed. I always knew that people could be fed. But okay, I'll tell it because I wanted to bring it full circle so it makes completely sense. For those that don't know my story who are tuning in, I was homeless for 6 years, just a year and a half ago, sleeping in my van. My biggest thing was making sure I stayed warm. Warmth, anytime I felt warm, I felt the presence of God. Every time I felt like I was warm and I slept really good being warm and my feet weren't cold, and I had my little crochet stuff that I made, and I sleep in the back of my van at the beach, mind you, and it made me feel secure, like everything was okay, right? Homeless, me having my heat. In fact, I had a generator where I plugged in my heating blanket. That heating blanket is still my bestie, like Linus from Charlie Brown. I still have that blanket right there on my bed, y'all. That baby's been with me for years, and I kept it because that it kept me, right outside of God. It kept me. So when aftercare is also implied to the man operating in a very nurturing way of safety and security by covering me up, making sure I'm not cold, making sure, in fact, I'm even getting emotional talking about this, y'all. Man, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. Jesus, let me get off this live. I'm about to cry. And so, basically, I remember the man that came over with the rose that I was telling you about. You guys that came up, not the toy. When I say, did I clarify that, y'all? Not the actual toy, by the way, actual rose that he bought me. Okay, came over with the rose. He should have been doing it. I'm not giving him no credit, but he came over with the rose. And this same man, one reason why I can't seem to shake him loose, and I'm gonna be honest with you, because he feeds. I don't know if it's my mother wounds he feed. I even told him that. I was like, you know what? I don't even think I got daddy issues. I think I got mama wounds a little bit because he's very, and his mother just passed away, and he was very close to his mother, and he's a Pisces, and he's very emotional and very sensitive towards me when we're together. And he awakened something in me that if I'm being honest, I don't like. So I like sometimes that he's avoiding. And I had to really work through that, even in therapy, that they say sometimes avoidance attract avoidance. While I was steady complaining, my complaining towards his avoidantness was really my place of just really wanting to control the situation, right? But the truth is, when I think about me being an avoidant myself to some degree, it's like I got to do it first. It's almost like petty. Like, hey, you ain't just avoid me. I'm avoid you first because I'm better at it. It was almost that. But I still have to say, this man has been not even off and on in my life for 6 years. It wouldn't be. I've just accepted for what it is. And many of you guys would probably think, are you settling for less? And in truth, to some degree, but I'm very aware of what it looked like for me. There's no hope. There's no expectation. I'm not sitting here going, in other words, what I've learned, and I got to say this, I don't control this man. I cannot control anybody else but myself. Even while this man still shows up in my life, I'm working through that. You see what I'm saying? I'm working through it. I don't care what nobody says, what it looks like on the outside. That's why I can boldly talk about it. It's because I'm working through it. God is working through me through it. I'm in therapy working through it. He's not abusive towards me. It would be easier if he was. Forgive me how that comes across, because it'd be, no, you're abusive son of a gun. He's just simply not coming around or being what I want him to be 24 hours a day. But the truth is this, as an Aquarius, as somebody who likes my own space, if he was on me like I wanted him to be on me, he would get on my nerves. And so when I really look at I'm not just saying this to be in denial or whatever, because I had to really sit with it. And I had to think about it. When he did get me, and I'm going to bring up the point why I brought him up, even when he brought me the rose and he brought me the wine, because I asked him to, part of me was like, well, he would, he only brought it because I asked him to. That's fine. The fact of the matter is, like I said in my other life, is because I'm glad he brought it, because what it taught me, forget him bringing it, it taught me to not be afraid to ask for what I want. And if I can ask for that, let me see what else I can ask. Now, that may be his cap, but it's training me to not be, hey, if that's what you want, and that's what I wanted. And so I don't even know if it's a place of, it's just what I want to practice. I'm at. God has been giving me everything else without me asking, except for just surrendering. So there was just no way in the world, especially like I said, that live that I had with the guy from Jersey, Kevin from Jersey, when Kevin from Jersey said to me, when I said, well, what is it that you want? And we were already in a private, he said, whatever you want. He said, whatever you want. I'm down for whatever. That last private I had set the map for the man that came over, because he came over that, was that Monday? He came over the next night. That Monday I had my cam show. The guy in my personal life came over that next night, and when I got on the phone with him, excuse me, I said, I'm gonna need you to do something for me. He said, what? I said, can you bring me my wine, a particular type of wine? I want to try something new. And I'm gonna need you to not get it at the cheap stores. What I told him, I don't want it from 7-Eleven. I want it from actual Pavilion or a Bonds or Trader Joe's or something like that. And I want you to bring me a flowers. Then I said, a flower. I said, even if you pick it off of somebody's garden, I don't care how you bring it. Because I was like, I want what I want kind of thing. And he ended up bringing me a rose. So when he stepped to the door and there was a rose in the wine was exactly what I wanted, but it was a rose. I was kind of like, I could swear I said flower. That I'm telling the truth, y'all. There was a part of me like, and he said, no, you said, and it's true. He said, you said either. You said, I didn't say either a rose or a flower. I said flowers, and then I said, or even a flower. But he brought a rose. Now, a lot of women might say, girl, please. At least he brought you a rose. But if you understand what I'm saying, just in this context, it's not about the rose. It was about the asking, right? I just had to put that out there. And the fact that I don't want to say something because I'm still gonna get my flowers from, if not him, somebody. If I get them myself, that's not the point. It's just that and of course I can be symbolic about it all day long because I'm spirit woman first. What a rose really signifies. What's interesting is that I was actually wearing all red when he came through. My favorite red jumper. I think I showed you guys my romper. I was in a red energy. So I almost would go as far as to say that was a universal thing. Maybe that was God. Maybe that to match. Because I even asked him, I said, you know, red is my favorite color. He goes, I know that. I was like, okay. So my point is, boom, that's that man, right? And why I brought him up is because I remember one time I had me a night, y'all, and I had me some wine. And mind you, he's the first man I've ever drank wine with, ever drank wine, period. He's the first. I was a virgin before when it comes to wine. And he was the first introduced me to what drinking wine with a man, period. I know I'm not putting emphasis on it. I'm just telling you what it was. So I've already developed that safety to drink around him. I feel safe enough to drink around him because it's been that way, right? So one night I'm going through it real bad because remember, you guys, if you don't know my story, I have a son with special needs. So I was going through with my son at the time, didn't know what was going on with him, blah 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 blah. This was a little bit before the pandemic, and that particular night I got a little bit more tipsy than I would normally get, right? And a lot more because I was a hurting and grieving mom. I was like going through it. I bad. I'm all like, oh bad. And I remember I was over his place and I remember just laying on the couch, butt naked, laying on the couch. And nothing happened with us. I don't remember nothing. I won't say I don't remember, but I remember his actions. Let me put it that way. And I remember he went into the living room, took, I guess, a sheet or whatever it was, and covered me up. I ended up being on the floor. He picked me up, not pick me, but you get what I'm saying, and put me in my hand and laid me down in the bed. And so that's not the part that I go, oh, he's such a good guy. What resonates with me, going back to what I said earlier, when it comes to aftercare, you know, is the blanket, the covering is very significant to me. So when a man covers me up so that I'm not cold or because I'm not just out exposed, just go there, even if he doesn't know what he's doing, because I'm a believer, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is God. This is the God job. This is God in his spirit. It could have been the devil. He could be from Satan all by himself. But when it comes to that situation or scenario, he God allowed him to cover me up. So my favorite aftercare, after a scenario, after vulnerability, let's go there. After vulnerability, after play, sex, because I was too whatever to actually uh, do anything with this man. I was on one, my level of on one. And one thing I noticed about him is that he likes when I sit and I'm just being buzzed and very aware. And I thank God that this is not a person that wants to take advantage of anybody, or at least not me, I don't think, being too vulnerable, right? And so I was taken care of that night, is what I want to say. What's interesting about him, this is the same man who's avoidant. But when we're together, he's very, very attentive. And I push him away, right? For whatever the reason. So when he gets affection with me, it's like, ugh, I literally, what I'm doing now is literally what I do to him. I'd be like, ah. And he'd be like, why do you do that? And I'd be like, please just give me, I always tell him, give me time to warm up. I always do just give, this is literally what I tell him. When he wanted to cuddle me aftercare, we're talking about aftercare, y'all. When he wanted to cuddle me for the first time ever, when we ended up doing the do, and I said, it's too hot in here. He said, well, I thought all women, I said, that's your problem. I'm not all women. He said, yeah, usually women like to cuddle. I said, no. And it allows for any woman that is similar to me, it ought to allow the man or the person or the partner that you with to study you. Again, going back to the S&M community, and I'm not saying there's not assholes in that community. I'm not saying that there's not people who mess up and people who are, you get what I'm saying? In every community there is room for the bad guy or the bad woman, badness to happen, right? But what I'm saying, as generally speaking, those type of lifestyles and those type of communities usually, again, going back to the word that I used earlier, law, they know to show aftercare, right? Or during care, in between what I say with them code words and aftercare. One of my code words was back in the day, and again, I was never really submissive, but just not the act of a sub. But one of my code words, ironically enough, was pineapple. I would always tell me, pineapple was my code word. When it got too intense, when I needed a break, whenever it was pineapple. Just saying. I just thought I'd throw that in the bucket. So, with that being said, y'all, I hope this live motivated some of you and inspired you to check in with yourself, right? Check in what type of relationship you have, as done it for me, um, and seeing and learning yourself of what you like, maybe even exploring why you like it, practicing again self-awareness, all these things to be considered. When I think about the relationship I have again with this particular man, there's not a place where I can honestly say I don't believe I'm in love with him. I think that it's good for what it is right now, and because I'm getting better in the place of getting back to being my own individual self, not even connected to my children anymore, as everybody, my son's okay and life is being good, and I just did my life talking about God's grace and his mercy, and I'm really getting myself to even rededicate myself back to my faith, even as a woman in this industry. With that, there, I don't have a need like I used to for not just him, but for any man or anybody like I used to. And I used to be that way. I used to be the type of woman, square biz, y'all. I used to be the type of woman that even my sisters would say that I thought men were disposable. I used to be the type of woman that I was really good at just like next, not because I was cruel or because I was mean, but because they were not the center of my life. And I've been in the industry as a woman in the adult entertainment field, as you guys know, for 31 years, if you're counting being a phone sex operator. So I understand my job allows me to center men or center the client, because sometimes like it's couples, it could be a woman. I've had a few women come through. It's very sweet when I get I'm a straight woman, but I still enjoy my women that are curious about me. I do. It feeds my ego a little bit. Not no, no, that's not ego. It's not ego. Actually, I get real damn bashful if you're asking me. I get bashful about it, but I also find it like what's the word? Like admiration, like flattering. That's what I'm saying. Flattering. What I don't really like about it is sometimes they're younger women, and it's the same way I feel about younger men, because I would never date a younger. When I say younger, I mean 25, 22, even 30-year old. I don't know, maybe 30. I don't know. I don't know. The older I get, I don't know, or the older these old men get. Now, going back to, and I see you guys, huh? No, I get what you were specific. Yeah. So I say all that to say, when it comes to this particular man, and mind you, there was a part of me, and I'll close with this regarding aftercare and all these things. And I'm here with y'all. This is real time, y'all. And I want so many women to kind of do this for themselves that are listening at the sound of my voice, whether you're in the business or not, man, to check in with yourself, and make sure that you're getting your needs met, not just an orgasm, right? A lot of people talk about, a lot of, specialists and gurus talk about the percentage and the statistics of women not getting the big O, and a lot of women are so hung up on getting the big, and the big O is a good thing to get. I'm telling you, it's a great and wonderful thing to get. Thank you, God, for the gift of it. It's beautiful at its best, especially even if you do it by yourself and alone and all that good jazz. But what I'm saying is that now that I'm opening up and I'm talking about this openly about aftercare, what it's showing me is with this particular, it's so, I just had this man, and this man just had me just this past Tuesday, y'all. So it's still fresh to me, right? So I can talk about it from a very fresh place. And what I can say is me and this man never had a problem. A lot of women don't. Never had a problem with whether we were going to have the big O together. We're good right there. He's good there. I'm good there. We're good. But is he an overall good lover? Because me having an orgasm doesn't make you a good lover. Just because there are many men that tell a woman, but didn't you come? Of course I did. Because that's what I do. You get what I'm saying? That I don't have a problem in that, me personally, right? So when a man goes, didn't you? I'm like, naturally, because of who I am. But that don't mean that makes you a good lover. What qualifies you in my book to be a good lover is that you're attentive. Is that you're attentive, you are gentle, unless otherwise, but just saying. You're attentive, you're gentle, you checking in. But I don't mean checking in like you're a virgin and you don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm just saying. But that you are gentle. I don't know how to say it. Gentle dom, gentle man, gentle person, gentle individual, gentle partner. Heavy on the word gentle, even when it's intense, still gentle intensity, you know, that matters to me. And the beautiful part to me that makes a beautiful lover is the aftercare, and the aftercare for me is the nurturing part, and the significance of that. And the example is the covering with the blanket. Now there's other stuff, but I just had to pull that one because that one is the really a. In other words, imagine this. Imagine I'm laying with the man. We didn't did the do. It was intense. It was good, and I'm just laying there butt naked. And he's like, "Well, we got to get to work." And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't get no blanket." Whereas some women might say, dang, I didn't get the kiss on the forehead. Or some women might say, damn, he didn't even cuddle me. Some women might say, dang, he didn't leave me money on the leave me money on the freaking edge of the freaking nightstand. Whatever her aftercare may look like. Oh man. Another person might say, oh, he didn't even make me a sandwich. Oh, he didn't even take out the trash. How about that, ladies? Case in point, this Negro, I'm probably almost out of here. This man, I had a box. You guys know my washing machine. Well, I had the box in here, and I promise I'm almost done. I had the freaking box in here. That box is huge. You can't miss the damn box. The box is there, and it's in the middle of the floor. I'm in a studio. It ain't like I got a extra space to put it or hide it, and it's in the middle of the floor. I was still contemplating on whether I wanted to throw it away or not because I didn't know. I didn't know if it was really going to work or not, right? So, hold on one second, you guys. I thought I had a call coming through. All right, so I didn't know if it was really gonna. Maybe it is. Hold on, guys. I'll be back.